So basically, when I open up GarageBand and click on the eyeball down here, and I get me some beats first. So let's say I get the drum beat going, and say, all right, well. So let's say I like that beat. Put it on whatever measure I want at. So let's say I measure 1. If I want to loop it, 50% and higher, I can loop. 50% and lower, I can make it smaller. So there's value to both of those things. So let's say I do a 4-measure loop, and I say, all right, that one is really cool. I'll put that there. And see the difference between the blue and the green? The blue is what? You guys remember what the blue is? It's actually what? It's a WAV file. So it's an audio file. And what's the green? MIDI. And what is MIDI again? Performance data. So that means I can go through and change the MIDI, right? So if I don't like this particular drum, sound right here, I can double click on this and say, all right, well, let me find Euro dance mix. So that's going to have some different sounds for those drums there.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
So, because I was messing with this a little bit earlier or whatever, and you cannot, the audio file, you cannot edit or take parts out or extend parts out.
You can edit it this way. If I double click on it or hit the little scissors here, and I'm going to take this little area over here and expand it out so I can see it a little bit, so I can see it better. I can take out beats. So let's say I want that beat gone there, highlight it, double click on the bottom, and now I can take that part out of there. But I can't change this, I can't change the timbre, I can't change the tone color of the drums like I can with the MIDI. It's also, I can't select all the hi-hats like I can in MIDI. Like this track up here, say I don't like this, make it smaller so I can see it more. Let's say I don't like all these hi-hats right here. Well, I can just highlight it and say, all right, well, let's put them somewhere else. Let's put them there. So that's the one thing that MIDI has advantage over audio, is that I can go, because it is performance data, I can change the timbre of something, I can make something longer, I can make something shorter, I can change a lot of the variables. I make the velocity harder. It's harder to do, it's not impossible, but it's harder. Some things are impossible to do with an audio file that way. Like if I just want to take one hi-hat and just make that louder in the audio file, it would be difficult to do that. Without, because everything else is on that area there is you can affect also.
You have software that alters audio files like that?
Yeah, I'm going to show you a free program, and actually I may show you today. I'll use that because it's advanced GarageBand techniques. So I've got some beats there, and that's all great. And just for fun, let me find some rock beats. All right, that's to me like a classic rock beat there. So let me delete all our other friends. Like I talked about last time, if I don't want a track, I just highlight the track and go into track and say delete track. Highlight track, delete track. So if I don't want a track, that's how you get it. So I'm gonna take that drum beat here that I like, put it here. Maybe there it is. And we'll loop it out for a while, and we'll say we have a good 8 measures of that. All right, play back. All right, I'm cool with it. Sounds cool. Now, I could use the keyboard and play something on top of that, but what if you play other instruments? So basically what I have my guitar here, and this is actually a classical guitar that I have here. And in GarageBand, you can do some really cool things with that. This one I have actually, this is a classical guitar that's also electric, so I got it plugged in to the Pro Tools M box. And you can pick them up for about 450 range and whatnot. Tascam has one that's a 22 4, or actually I think they even got like a 12. They change models all the time. And that one's more like a $200 level, $150 level. It does something similar. And the thing that's nice about that is that it takes a microphone or an instrument and you can plug it into it and you'll get a better fidelity sound with that USB device. These are both USB devices. So if you want a portable studio, get you an M-Box, get you one of those Tascams and a laptop, like you got over there, Andy, you can start recording concerts really. And you probably need an external hard drive because audio files do take up a decent amount of space. Not near as much as DV files as video files do, but it does take a pretty good bit of space. So basically, I got this hook up to the M-Box, and it took me and a friend a little while to figure this out last Thursday, make sure it's working right. I think it's working right, so we'll see how it happens. The way that Apple has a default is that you just use the microphone that's built into the computer or the microphone jack. So basically, the driver's set up where I'm using the Pro Tools, the DigiDesign's M-Box with this system, but this will work with a Tascam, this will work with other USB to audio devices. So basically, I'm going to click on my guitar track, and what I would do is this. I'm going to hit plus, say I want a real instrument, and this was the rub last time. Let me just try that, see if it's stereo. Alright, so what I can do is get do a count in. Let's see. And that was the exact wrong way. So don't do it that way. Because
mono 2.
We want mono 2, right? So let's get rid of that track. There's another opportunity for me to show you how to get rid of a track. There it goes. My track. So real instruments, what I want. Guitar, I'm going to use no effects, and I want mono 2. Don't know why. Two, three, four. So when I play that back, it's a little distorted. Okay. Now the cool thing is what I can do, and what I really should do is play around with the peak and whatnot, and make sure it's not too hot or too soft. But now I can click on this no effects here, and let's say I want to try it with British Invasion sound. Let me play that back. Or you know what? Why not the Dream? Or the English Channel, or the Glam Band. So, so that's from a classical guitar. Yes, sir.
Can you only make that with instruments that are real instruments that are piped in, or can you do that with instruments that you're doing in the key?
If it's a WAV file, if it's a WAV file in there, I should be able to go through and tweak some of those things. I mean, because all this is audio. Once I get it in there, what you can do is make a real track, take a drum track or take a track that's guitar track in there, and just drag it in there and do the GarageBand or whatever to it, and it will tweak the sound. Because all this is this audio that is played in here. Yes, ma'am.
So say, for example, I'm going to make some music, blending pots and it's coming together or something. How do you get it? You're using the same.
Yeah, I got a microphone set up. I was going to use that next.
Oh.
I was going to show you how great I sing.
Okay.
So that will be the next part. Okay, that's pretty. And the other thing I could do is there are other effects. You know, if I wanted to do a filter, you know. And to answer Andy's question, basically, you know, since it is a WAV file, I can just basically take any of those effects, even if it's for drums or for bass or whatever, and put it on the guitar, and have some really cool sounds going on. Now, this does eat up processor speed. So if you do this a whole lot on a slower computer, you probably only want to do this on one track. But if you got one of those nice G5s, the Intel Max, you can probably do 8 of the 8 instruments, and not have too much of a problem with that. Okay, so basically all I do is run my guitar in there with just a regular lead going into the channel 2 of the Pro Tools system, and we have that. All right. Now most Macs you get have, especially like the laptops, you have a built-in microphone, or if you get these iMacs or eMacs, they're going to have a microphone built into it. And the fidelity on those are decent. Or, you know, it's not the greatest microphone in the world, but it will work, especially for demos and for probably most of the stuff that we're doing. But if you get you a little better mic, hold that up with a touch. Get you a little bit better mic, a condenser mic, or something that has a little bit more response and whatnot. And you know, there's microphones that cost, you know, 80 grand, 100 grand, and they're just really sensitive. But if you spend a good $100 on a mic, you can get something that sounds really decent. If you spend $20 on one of those Radio Shack mics, even, that's going to sound better than the mic that comes in with your laptop or your built-in Mac. Yes, sir.
You have an iMac and access to mic.
Which iMac do you have? Do you have a?
iMac,
You have one of the new ones? There's a microphone on there, and under the sound options, you just use built-in mic. Instead of line in or CD, you just use a built-in mic. Yeah, it's under the sound systems, and then you sound, and then you pick the. This computer didn't have a built-in mic, but if it has a line in though, so it's going to say that on there. Okay. All right. I'm going to hit plus. Real instrument, we'll use vocals this time. And we'll put, I want some deep vocals on there. We'll use mono 1. Just because I hadn't had that on the mic. I got a signal. Test. Alright. So you get a chance to see me sing. And normally you're going to have headphones on, right, so you don't get what is called a bleed through. What's a bleed through? It's kind of one of the basic recording techniques. What bleed through is, next, you guys ever do that on radio? You have a bleed through? No? If I'm recording, I have 4 of the tracks going on, I don't want to record those tracks with a microphone. So what you use, you put a headphones on to listen to those 4 tracks, and you sing on top of that. And even in a studio, sometimes they only use one ear, and they cup their ear, and they turn it down, because the mics, those $10,000, $100,000 mics are really sensitive. They'll pick up sound, so they squeeze the headphone. If you ever see anybody record on TV, that's why they're doing that, so that it's only going into the ear and won't go into the microphone, because you're really close to the microphone when you're singing usually. All right, and that's what's called bleed through. You don't want we're gonna get bleed through today. I'm not gonna worry about it, but normally I just put some headphones on and I want to bleed through. Whoa, whoa, in the Midland. Whoa, 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 leaving is so sad, yeah. So I got some vocals there now, let me see that, and we'll play it back, let's hear how it sounds. I guess the deeper vocals, we don't want the deeper vocals. Ambient vocals, let's try that. Yeah, that helps out. And I can put the dB up, put them down. And but double click on it, let's do, you know, there's some, in the Midland. Whoa, 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 leaving is so sad, yeah. Usually I think for my voice, the vocal reflection is probably the best. So we'll just stick with that. And there it is. One of the things I was doing over here, the drums and the guitar were a little bit too loud. So if something's too soft, you have two options. Either you bring that up, you bring the other stuff down, or you do a little bit of both. And that's basic, that's mixing 101 really. It's not too hard. I mean, you guys, I'm sure do that a little bit of radio, right?
Yeah, when we will talk over music pads and stuff like that.
Do you guys have built-in pressure or built-in filter or anything like that, or you just do that you do it manually? And DJs, I don't know if anybody's a DJ in here or not, right? When you crossfade between two records, right? And you guys do the same thing in radio, right? Usually. Okay. Any questions on that? How to use vocals and whatnot, and that's the power of this. That I could take some loops, which I had the drums and loop, played a live instrument there. If I wanted to play a trumpet, and I won't subject you to my trumpet playing, but I could get my trumpet out and play it in here, and harmonica on the good day. No. It's about thumb drive.
You say that setup costs like $500 to be able to the hook up for the microphone and the guitar and things like $500 for all the equipment.
Yeah, well that's $450, but like I said, you can get a USB to audio things for $150 range. Really be honest, the most important component, right there, is the microphone. It's better to get a $100 USB device and a $200 microphone than a $200 device and a $10 microphone. There's a saying in computers, garbage in, garbage out. If you record something that's not a really good fidelity, it's never going to sound better than the way it's recorded. And really, be honest, these mics have got, that's a decent mic there, and you get that for $60 now. I mean, that's not a bad mic. I just can't have really expensive mics in the lab. But that does actually a really good job for $70, $60, whatever it is. And you know, that's when I hear people's demos a lot of times, I can tell if they got like a $3 microphone, which is cool. You know, you can still hear what's going on, but it's not. If you want to get something that sounds, and be honest with this system here, if I really wanted to, especially with acoustic guitar and just me singing, I could sound as good, or at least near as good as any acoustic vocal guy singing out there. They do some compression techniques with the big studios and whatnot like that, but they're and you can actually get a lot of those type of filters and so forth yourself. GarageBand is really just an entry-level type of sequencing device, made so that you can make music for your movies or for your photos and whatnot like that. But it's also a powerful tool, and by being able to do this and looping all in one package, you know, it's really cool things. For you guys over there in the communications, you can get your loops, get your microphone, and you can do your cuts between things for that. I had one person in communications. She made her demo CD in here, and she did the hip hop voice, and then the sports and the news and the different type of radio formats. And she did it with 30-second clips and stuff. And she just found the loops on here that she wanted to talk over, take a microphone and turn it all to a CD. So there's some possibilities there. All right, one last technique I'm going to show you today. Just put the microphone down. Don't need to hear me sing anymore. Because all this stuff is just like any other loop, if I want to, I can loop the guitar part, I can loop the vocal part if I wanted to. So if I like that really well, or same thing, hold on an option, I can copy the vocal part again. So just when you record audio on here, it's just like any other loop. And so if you took your pots and pans, you can loop that if you wanted to. Right. Now we won't save that one. And again, if you wanted to export to iTunes, you hit export to iTunes and put it to the CD. I could do that for somebody who really wanted it. Nobody. That's all. We'll do new project. Okay. One of the things that pretty much all MIDI applications have is what they call import MIDI file, export MIDI file. For whatever reason, Apple didn't put that into GarageBand. So if you did something in Performer, you say, well, how can I get it into GarageBand? Well, fortunately, people wanted to figure that out. And there's a program that's called, anybody speak French? Dent du midi. Anybody speak French? No, nobody. All right, if you did, you can help me pronounce it. I took German and Spanish, so my French is very limited. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a track that I did in Performer, and I saved it as a MIDI file. Remember how we did that in Performer? Save this as a MIDI file. And it says to drag MIDI file to convert to this picture. All right? And that's it. Let's click that program. And now here's a little box, the little folder that makes with all this stuff. And all I have to do, I want to copy the report, all that other stuff. Go into GarageBand. So you drag it in. I'm going to read something real quick. Don't tell me I do this one by one. I know I do this all. I know I do this all these at one time. But if not, it was okay. Well. And for some reason I thought, and I must be doing something off. That's okay. I do something. And this is what you call the citing target class. Single drag files to GarageBand. People are beating in the door right now. I'm going to watch this. Alright, so here we go. Ta-da! Alright, so this one here is the drum kit. And what I had to do is, I had to remember what I put on there as stuff. I guess I probably didn't save it as what it is. So let's say that part there is it's about a cent. I go through here, and that's probably the baseline there. So something kind of new like I'm not sure what that's somebody know probably. So I'm just going through here and just giving different. So it's not 40. We get up to. So this was a MIDI file that I did it in Performer. And I can pick the sounds, and if I want to, I could sing on top of it, put the guitar on top of that MIDI file, and so forth. So, like all the other MIDI files that we talked about, you can, say you want a drum lead from one song, you can find that and put that on there as a loop potentially. And that program's a free program. Dent du Mickey. Okay. Any questions about that? All right. Well, I think that's all the advanced garage techniques for today. Okay. Bye.